Frozen pizza is marketed as the quick fix for busy nights. But what if that bubbling cheese and crispy crust came with a heaping side of health risks? In 2021, a study from Consumer Reports found alarmingly high sodium levels and hidden trans fats in popular frozen pizzas, with some exceeding 75% of your entire daily sodium intake in a single serving. And yes, that serving size is a laughable third of the actual pie. Add in preservatives like BHA and BHT, flagged by the National Institutes of Health for possible carcinogenic effects, and you've got yourself a toxic triangle masquerading as dinner. Today, we rank 10 of the biggest frozen pizza brands from worst to best, exposing the greasy truth behind your freezer's favorite guilty pleasure. And yes, we'll reveal the shocking few that are actually safe if you know where to look. Number 10. Totino's Party Pizza. This isn't pizza. This is a crime scene in a plastic wrapper, packed with over 700 milligrams of sodium and a laundry list of mystery meats. Totino's barely qualifies as food. The crust is more like salted cardboard soaked in grease. And the pepperoni? It's mostly mechanically separated chicken, a euphemism for the parts nobody wanted. According to the Environmental Working Group, Totino's scores rock bottom for nutrition, churning out synthetic additives like TBHQ, which has been linked to vision problems and DNA damage in animal tests. Still craving that party pizza? You might want to RSVP no. Number 9. Red Baron Classic Crust. With a name that evokes aerial dogfights and heroics, you'd expect something bold. What you get instead is a sodium bomb wrapped in nostalgia. Each slice punches in at over 400 calories and heaps of saturated fat, thanks in part to that suspiciously buttery crust. Inspect the label, and you'll find partially hydrogenated oils hiding out like war criminals. Despite the FDA's 2015 ban finally taking full effect in 2020. So, shouldn't they be long gone? Apparently not in the Baron's bunker. And let's not forget the cheese, which contains more anti-caking agents and preservatives than actual dairy. Ever wonder why it never burns in the oven? That's not skill, that's sorcery. Number 8. DiGiorno Rising Crust. It's not delivery, but it might be a distress signal. DiGiorno wants you to believe it's a premium at-home pizza experience, but under that rising crust lies a bloated dose of modified food starches, artificial flavors, and enough sodium to make a salt shaker blush, nearly 1,200 milligrams per serving. A 2020 independent lab analysis even found traces of glyphosate, the controversial herbicide linked to increased cancer risk, in its wheat-based ingredients. This pie inflates more than just your expectations. It swells your daily intake of industrial fillers and questionable colorants like yellow 5 and red 40. So why does it taste so addictively familiar? Because you're not eating food, you're eating engineering. And you've played right into the lab's hands. Number 7. Celeste Pizza for One. Blink and you'll miss it, both the portion size and the ingredient integrity. Marketed as a quick solo indulgence, this tiny pizza hides a dystopian ingredient list that reads like a chemistry set. Mono and diglycerides, artificial dyes, and enough salt to embalm a hamster. In 2019, a lab test by Clean Label Project flagged Celeste products for elevated levels of acrylamide, a chemical formed during high-temperature cooking and listed by the FDA as a potential carcinogen. And that cheese-like topping? It's more vegetable oil than dairy, cleverly engineered to imitate melt instead of delivering nutrition. Eating this is less a meal and more an experiment on your body. Number 6. California Pizza Kitchen Frozen. The name screams fresh and coastal, but peel back the label and you're knee-deep in additives that belong in a lab, not your kitchen. With over 20 ingredients in just the crust alone, including sodium aluminosilicate, an anti-caking agent also used in laundry detergent, the only thing this pizza is cooking up is confusion. Their BBQ chicken flavor boasts nearly 30 grams of sugar per pie, more than a glazed donut. Add caramel coloring, which California itself classifies as a potential carcinogen, and you start to realize the only thing golden about this pizza is the marketing spin. And let's be real. Since when did healthy living taste like corn syrup and burnt soy? Number 5. Tombstone Original. The name should have been your first red flag. Tombstone doesn't just sound like death. It delivers it one bite at a time. With a crust that's basically fried flour and cheese that oozes more grease than a mechanic's rag, Tombstone is laughably loaded with saturated fat and artificial flavors. One serving nets you nearly 70% of your daily recommended fat intake. And that's before you consider the 700+ milligrams of sodium that tag along for the ride. Their sausage contains textured soy protein, nitrates, and the ever-mysterious natural flavoring, a regulatory loophole big enough to drive a refrigerated truck through. Craving that smoky taste? That's likely liquid smoke extract, a chemical cousin to the stuff used in curing meats and, ironically, grilling your conscience. Number 4. Mama Cozzi's. Aldi. Budget shoppers swear by it, but there's a dark side behind that unbeatable price tag. Mama Cozzi's frozen pizzas often clock in with ingredient lists longer than a CVS receipt, featuring emulsifiers, gums, and phosphates that disrupt more than just your digestion. A 2022 food quality audit by Consumer Lab found inconsistencies in serving size data and alarming levels of added sugars in their 4 cheese variety. Yes, sugar and cheese. The crust is practically sponge cake, masquerading as dough, absorbing oil like a bounty paper towel in crisis. You save money, sure, but at the cost of feeding your body a cocktail of lab-fortified shortcuts. The question is, how much is your metabolism worth? Number 3. Great value rising crust. Walmart. If irony had a mascot, this would be it. Branded as an economical alternative, this pizza offers a thick, fluffy crust and a taste profile best described as salty regret. One serving contains over 1 to 1,000 milligrams of sodium and sneaks in MSG under aliases like autolyzed yeast extract and hydrolyzed vegetable protein. In a 2021 analysis by the Center for Science and the Public Interest, this brand ranked among the lowest in transparency, with vague ingredient labels and no sourcing info for its meats or cheeses. And let's talk preservatives. It's a parade of propylene glycol, sodium benzoate, and carrageenan, all linked to gut inflammation and potential immune suppression. Eating this is like stapling a coupon to your immune system and handing it to disease. Number 2. Tony's pepperoni. This one is a wolf in pepperoni clothing. Wrapped in layers of faux meat and droopy cheese, Tony's manages to load nearly 50 ingredients into something the size of a steering wheel. High fructose corn syrup in the sauce, partially hydrogenated oils lurking in the crust, and synthetic flavor enhancers round out the chemical symphony. As recently as 2023, advocacy group Food Scores gave Tony's one of the lowest possible grades for nutritional quality and transparency. Its nutritional panel reads like a warning label, yet it's marketed directly to kids with bright colors and cartoonish cheer. Ever feel unusually thirsty and tired after eating one? That's not coincidence. That's what happens when your snack doubles as a sneaky science project. Number 1. Jack's Original Thin Crust. It's the cheapest thing in the freezer aisle next to the ice itself, and that's exactly what you get: frozen regret disguised as a meal. Clocking in with high levels of sodium, high fructose corn syrup, and bromated flour, a substance banned in several countries due to its carcinogenic potential. Jack's is a bottom-shelf gamble with your health. Its cheese is a waxy imitation full of cellulose powder to prevent clumping, and the sauce tastes like someone whispered tomato into a vat of cornstarch. Yet somehow, it's still one of the best-selling frozen pizzas in America. Why? Maybe because ultra-processed food is cheaper than truth. Or maybe because people haven't looked closely enough. Till now. But what if we told you not all frozen pizzas are death discs in disguise? A few brands have managed to cut through the grease and corrosion with actual integrity. Take American Flatbread, for instance. Organic ingredients, minimal processing, and a crust made from whole wheat flour and filtered water. It's still indulgent, but with none of the lab coat aftertaste. Or how about Amy's Kitchen? Certified organic, non-GMO, and made with real vegetables and hormone-free cheese. Tests by the Clean Label Project in 2022 ranked it among the cleanest frozen meals on the market. Period. These aren't perfect, but in a freezer aisle dominated by deception, they're practically unicorns in cardboard boxes. So, the next time you reach for that frozen pie, ask yourself, are you feeding your hunger or fueling your own decline? Your body isn't a dumpster for corner-cutting corporations, no matter how crispy the crust. Drop a comment below with the brands you trust, or the ones you'll never touch again. Because in a world where even dinner can betray you, sharing the truth might be the only thing that still tastes real. And here's a thought to chew on before you bite again. If these corporations are willing to cut corners in something as basic as pizza, what else are they slipping through unnoticed? The FDA might issue recalls and warnings now and then, but the real policing starts with your plate. So subscribe, share, and spread the breakdown. Because when even comfort food comes with a side of chemicals, staying silent just isn't on the menu anymore. And with that, our crusty crusade comes to an end. You've now stared deep into the freezer aisle abyss, and it stared back covered in faux cheese and sodium dust. We peeled off the labels, and found more than just toppings. We uncovered a pattern of indifference and deception, baked right into America's favorite lazy meal. So whether you're tossing one in the cart, or leaving it behind, just remember, ignorance might be bliss, but informed bites are how you actually survive modern food. Stay sharp, stay skeptical, and above all, stay hungry for truth. Because here's the final truth buried beneath all the branding and bubbly cheese. What you eat in silence today could echo through your health for years. That innocent-looking slice is a choice, a fork in the road between convenience and consequence. So next time you're tempted by flashy packaging and impossible prices, think like an investigator, not a shopper. Watch your labels like they're suspects. Question your cravings like motives. And never forget, what they serve you frozen might just burn you in the long run. You made it this far, and that means you're part of the resistance, the few who question, inspect, and demand better from the food system slipping silent dangers into our diets. Frozen pizza isn't inherently evil, but the careless shortcuts, deceptive labeling, and corporate apathy make it a ticking time bomb in too many home freezers. So go ahead, satisfy that craving if you must, but do it armed with knowledge, not blind trust. Because in the fight for your health, every bite counts, and ignorance isn't delicious, it's deadly. We've now gone oven deep into the frozen food underworld, slicing through myths, marketing, and meals that should come with a Surgeon General's warning. Whether it's the styrofoam crusts hiding synthetic cocktails, or the sugar-soaked cheese dressed as dairy, the reality is clear. Convenience is costing us more than time. If this investigation made you reconsider what's in your freezer, then mission accomplished. Expose Unlimited doesn't exist to scare it. Exists to spotlight the silent deals being made between our health and their profit margins. So next time you're aisle wandering, remember, the real flavor is in the facts, and the truest toppings are transparency and truth. Stay brave, stay bold, and keep exposing what was never meant to stay hidden. One last slice of reality before we wrap. In 2023, a CDC report quietly revealed that over 60% of the average American diet now comes from ultra-processed food. That includes frozen pizza, breakfast bars, boxed dinners, the very things marketed as convenience, but convenience comes at a cost. Higher rates of obesity, chronic inflammation, and early cognitive decline all link back to these Frankenstein meals. So if you take away one thing from this deep dive, let it be this: read your labels like your life depends on it. Because in too many cases, it does. Your next meal could either nourish or erode the very system trying to keep you alive. Choose wisely. So as you stare into the freezer aisle, ask yourself how many of these boxes are offering food, and how many are just crafty packaging over cleverly diluted danger. We've pulled back the curtain, exposed the truth, and now the choice is yours. Will you keep sliding the same boxes into your cart, or will you finally demand something better? Because the only thing colder than that frozen pizza might be the corporations banking on your silence. The freezer aisle used to feel like a shortcut to comfort, but now it's more like a silent minefield lined with edible illusions. What was once marketed as a family-friendly dinner solution reveals itself as a carefully engineered chemical compromise. But awareness is power. You've seen the labels, the loopholes, the layers of spin. So, next time you hear the microwave beep and reach for a slice, remember this moment, the one where you chose to expose the unlimited truth, not just consume it. Until next time, stay vigilant, and never settle for less than real. This has been Expose Unlimited, where we don't just read the label, we rip it off. If you found this investigation helpful, drop a comment, share with someone who practically lives on frozen pizza, and subscribe for more breakdowns that pull no punches. Because the truth isn't always palatable, but it's always necessary. Stay sharp, question everything, and remember, dinner isn't just a choice, it's a statement. See you next time. And if all else fails, just cook your own. A simple homemade pizza, with whole ingredients, fresh tomatoes, real cheese, whole grain dough can do more than fill your stomach. It can reclaim your autonomy in a food system that profits from your ignorance. Because when you take the power back, one slice at a time, that crust stops being a trap and starts becoming a stand. Against shortcuts, against deceit, against the silent sabotage hiding in plain sight. Expose it, own it, and eat like the truth matters because it does. This was more than just pizza. This was a blueprint of our broken food chain, frozen in time and shrink-wrapped in denial. From grotesque ingredient lists to orchestrated advertising, each bite revealed how far we've strayed from real, nourishing food. But now, you know. You've read between the toppings. Expose Unlimited will keep shining the light. But ultimately, what you pick up off those frosted shelves is your choice. Choose bravely. Choose with eyes wide open. And never let silence be the secret ingredient. So here we are, at the crossroads of appetite and awareness. You've seen the marketing mirages, tasted the truth beneath the toppings, and decoded the fine print buried beneath dollar signs. The next time you're tempted by that too-good-to-be-true pizza deal, ask yourself, is this convenience or collusion? Because the real flavor to chase isn't artificial smoke or synthetic cheese, it's clarity. That's the only topping that satisfies for life. In the end, this wasn't just a ranking, it was an awakening. A look into how something as simple as pizza can reflect the larger erosion of trust, transparency, and truth in what we eat. So as your freezer hums and the packaging promises perfection, remember that the power to demand better lies not in marketing, but in your choices. Keep your hunger, but make sure it's for the facts. See you in the next expose. And with that, we slam the freezer door on this investigation. From sodium traps to carcinogenic crusts, we've picked apart the pie slice by slice, revealing that convenience too often comes baked with betrayal. Now, it's your turn to question, choose, and challenge the illusion of safety wrapped in every glossy box. Expose Unlimited will be here, torch in hand, peeling back the shrink wrap on whatever they try to feed us next. Until then, stay hungry, just not for lies.